People are weird, right? I mean, even frustrating, if not downright maddening. My friend Connie Podesta wrote a book in the 1990s called Life Would Be Easy If It Weren't for Other People. Ain't that the dang truth? Life would be easy if it weren't for these odd and bizarrely behaving other people. And at the same time, it's the other people that makes life so wonderful, meaningful, and joyful, right? So it's a conundrum. So I have a few really important insights to share with you this week. Insights into the bizarro beliefs, thinking, and behavior of our fascinating species, those that we live amongst. My hope with you on this is, if you know why people act so freakishly weird, then you won't be so bewildered and revolted by so many of them. And maybe, dare I say, actually come to love, appreciate, and enjoy them even more. And best of all, come to know better how to help these bizarro folks, encourage, uplift, empower, and positively influence them too. At the very least, at least learn to see your fellow humans for who they really are. Who we all are, by the way. Crazy, completely irrational, and wildly dysfunctional primates. Just doing their damnedest to survive and thrive atop this spinning marble, hurling through the abyss of this ever-expanding vacuum void of dark matter, dead rocks, and scattered light, traveling at 67,000 miles an hour around a giant hot ball of burning plasma. Here is the first thing to know about people. You really don't know anything about them. Think of all the information that you know, all that you have been taught, all that you have read. Even assuming you remember all of that, it is still an infinitesimal amount of the available knowledge in the world. In the Library of Congress alone, there are 174 million books and collections. That amount of knowledge is what you could actually know. And it doesn't even scratch the surface of all that there is to know. That is true and analogous to your knowledge of every single human being as well, those that you think you know. As much as we think we know about people, even the people that we are closest to, we are blind to perhaps 99.999999999% of who they really are. What people present to the world is a tiny fraction of what's going on inside their head. Never mind the fact that most of what people share outside their head is what they want us to see. Skills are advertised, flaws are hidden, wins are exaggerated, losses are downplayed. Doubt and anxiety are rarely shared on social media. Failures rarely sit for interviews or write biographies, or people read them. Even the most prolific oversharers that there are only disclose maybe 1/1000th of 1% of what they have been through, what they think, what they are grappling with, and what's going on inside their head. Those who have had volumes and volumes of biographies written about them, even those who have written their own autobiographies, you still know less than 0.0000001% of what they really thought and how they really felt and the life that they really led. I've been married to the same woman for over 20 years. I've worked remotely, virtually, and hybrid for most of all those 20 years, which means we've literally been on top of each other 24/7, 365 for 2 decades straight. I am the first person that she speaks to in the morning and the last person that she speaks to every single freaking day for decades straight. We can finish each other's sentences. We can even speak to each other in half sentences. Sometimes even a single word can communicate paragraphs or storylines. Heck, we can look at a scene, look at each other, and know exactly what the other is thinking without even saying it. Point is, we know each other that well. I have been witness and with her through the best moments of her life in the last 20 and the very worst. She has shared things with me that no other human being on earth knows or will ever know. Yet, I am certain, I do not know 99.9999999% of what she has going on in her head. What feelings, what anxieties, what worries, what yearnings, what desires, what hopes, what wishes, what fears, and what frustrations she really has. In truth, I really don't know her at all. Not really. And neither do you. Of anyone. even your own children, the very products of your own loins and DNA, those souls that you have nurtured and suckled into existence. I guarantee you don't know 99.99999% of what goes on inside their emotional, psychological, and spiritual mind and body. So what does this mean? How can this help you? I think it helps you understand and empathize. Understand that you don't understand what they might really be going through, what they might really be thinking and feeling and battling with, which helps you empathize better and hopefully give people a lot more grace. So you see somebody doing something crazy and you think, why in the world would they do that? And you sit there with all sorts of judgments about that behavior and that response and that reaction. And you sit down with them then and you start hearing about their life. And after a while you realize, I kind of get it now. Someone once said, and I can't remember who, all behavior makes sense with enough information. That is such a great point. I hope that you got it. I'll say it again. Put that in your Darren Daily journal. All behavior makes sense with enough information. Everybody is a product of their own life experiences, little of which is visible or ever known to other people. What makes sense to me might not make sense to you, because you didn't have the same experiences that shaped me, and vice versa. So the question, why don't you agree with me on this or agree with this? That question can have an infinite number of answers, and most assumptions that you have about it, by the way, will be way off. Usually a better question is, what have you experienced that I have not, that would make you believe what you believe, thus behave as you do? And would I too think about the world like you do if I had experienced what you had experienced? You see, when you take that approach, when you see and consider the people around you with that kind of empathy and emotional intelligence, your ability to connect and influence them increases dramatically. So know, as you walk around the world today and every day, even as you walk around your own house, know that you are only seeing the very tippy top of the iceberg that is that person. Know that there is a gigantic iceberg of emotional and psychological mystery below the surface. And that part above the water, you know, that stuff that you see, that you have to deal with, that you have to interact with, it is being moved and controlled by what's under the surface. So understand and have empathy and give them lots of grace. What you see is a product of the unseen iceberg below. And tomorrow, I will show you how you can still predict people's behavior with freakish accuracy, even if you don't know the rest of their iceberg below the surface. This is a very powerful tip for being able to positively influence others. That is what I will explain to you in our next Darren Daily session. Be sure that you're back for that. In the meantime, tell us, what stuck out to you about today's session? Does this understanding give you more compassion, empathy, and understanding of people's sometimes bizarre, sometimes bewildering, and weird behavior of the primates that are around you? Just a little bit, maybe? Jot down your notes in your Darren Daily journal and share your thoughts with us in the comments below.